I really don't like it when football matches are annoying. And this is another case of that happening. The same happened against Sunderland, but they deserved a fair bit more than we did. But Coventry was a pain in the arse of a football match. I'm going to go through it bit by bit, go through the team news, what happened in the first half, second half, and then a few of the lessons that we've learned from it. And before we get into that, we need to talk team news. And the team news is you. You are on my team. If you press the subscribe button below, that'd be massively appreciated. Thank you. Now, the Leeds United first 11 was completely unchanged. It showed a very, very clear presence of trust within the squad. Daniel Farker trusts all of these players to get the results that he needs, and that's fair enough because typically they perform really well. He mentioned in his press conference, if someone's on dodgy form, if they've played well beforehand, that's completely fine because they're going to get back to that good form. But that seemed to have been his philosophy with picking this side. And then we got into the first half, and we opened up with some very nice technical passing play. We looked like we wanted to not necessarily just dribble at them, but play the ball through them, around them, and be nice and intelligent with the football, which is good because we've got a lot of skillful players that know how to do that. However, we were met with what was going to be a theme throughout the match, which was constant tactical fouling from the start. And the referee didn't seem to punish it. Their first yellow card, I've just had a quick look, came on the 66th minute, which the number of fouls that he just let go, either not as a foul or that should have been a booking that weren't booked, was bizarre. And I'm going to go into the ref in a lot more detail as we keep going through. But we had consistent issues all the way throughout the match, both with the referee and with what I'm about to go to, with Rutter missing a sitter. Ball comes blazing across the 6-yard box. Rutter is right next to it. If he sticks out a foot, he hits it, and there's a massive chance that it goes in and he doesn't kick out to it, which was an absolute pain in the arse, but it was a sign that we were getting chances, and we were able to force chances by doing what we do best, and that is retaining the ball. Get the ball, say on the right-hand side, push forward. If you're pushed backwards, play it back to a centre-back, the other centre-back, left winger, and you can attack down the left. Doing that means that you're always sort of probing around, looking for weaknesses in the opposing back line, and doing that a little bit quicker is something that I feel like we need to improve at. That means that we'll get more chances a little bit more quickly, and ideally more goals, but evidently we're not very good at putting our chances away. The next note I took was that the referee was a little bit of a joke and was allergic to giving cards. The number of times that there were tactical fouls, or like an elbow into Archie Gray's stomach that left him on the ground for a minute, that was given as a foul but not a yellow card for some reason, despite the fact that he was on the break, and it wasn't just a flailing arm, it was a firm bang. Irritating. In this specific case, I've said that Somerville was obstructed. He gave Coventry a free kick. This was the time that I think it might have been Ellis Sims that Somerville was running against, and Sims just ran off at a diagonal. Say if the ball's coming this way, he ran off in this direction, pulling Somerville with him, and somehow he got the free kick? Absolutely bizarre. Did not understand it. But outside the refereeing, I think this match ultimately highlighted for me the need for a creative number 10. Joel Peru is good at finishing. That's what he does. He can play in a number 10, but he's not necessarily that creative number 10. He's a number 10 that's more of a goal scorer. Same as Sammy Schmodix at Blackburn. However, when you ask him to create chances, he's not got that same eye for a pass as, say, Pablo Hernandez did. He's not got that sort of vision on him for a through ball and an assist, and I feel like that's what we're really missing in these matches, because Peru sort of goes by as something of a little bit of a passenger. Rutter, as they're creating chances, Somerville and James are making diving runs down the wing, and Peru is sort of waiting in the half space. He's there perfectly fine for balls to bounce off him and play the occasional pass, but that doesn't really matter when he's not creating the chances for other people, and I think in the January window we really need to look at number 10. Most of our chances in this match came from relatively high turnovers, cases in which we were pressing them quite high and they'd make a mistake. We'd get the ball and attack. That's, again, looking at how we're really good on the transition. When we're not on the transition, we struggle a little bit more. But 0-0, it's half-time. At half-time, I am already quite annoyed with Leeds for not creating enough chances, not finishing enough chances, and the referee for being himself. At halftime, the lessons that I saw were that we need to be a lot more incisive. Having the ball is fine, but it's what you do with it that counts. The ref won't do us any favours. This is, I think I put this down after the Dan James penalty shout, which I still think is fair for him to go down, especially when you've seen the week before Somerville. We could have easily had a Sunderland. Was it Sunderland? Maybe Sunderland. A Sunderland player sent off if Somerville goes down because he's been pushed from behind. James does the same, doesn't get a free kick. Irritating. Piru felt a little bit invisible at this point, and we maybe needed someone a little bit more creative in his place. In my mind, this was bring on Willie Nonto. Nonto plays on the left, Somerville in the 10, and we'll see what happens from there. That's something that I think might need to happen in the next few weeks. Then we get to the second half. No changes to either team, which is completely fine, and immediately there was no change to the referee either. Somerville was stepped on, went down injured, and Somerville got booked for that because apparently the referee waved him off the pitch saying, "Go off, you need treatment." Somerville was like, "No, I'm fine. I'll keep playing. I'm okay. It just hurt a bit." And he booked him for that, which is absolutely fucking mental to say that that was the first yellow card of the match. Bonkers. However, we did proceed to score. Somerville gets his own back, dinking the keeper after a fantastic through ball by Rutter. This demonstrates to me that Rutter, even when he's clearly not at his best, which he wasn't today, he's still fantastic at creating chances for other people to score. His footballing brain is just really good, and the fact that we still have it is surprising to me, and if we don't go up, I feel like we probably have to sell him in the summer. We got another chance very soon after with an Ampadu through ball for James, which was fantastic, and James just blazed it across the face of goal. I don't know whether it was meant as a cross or as a shot, but it didn't work out as either, and then it was 1-0. Strike lost his man from a cross, headed from point-blank range, nothing Meslier can do because it's out of his reach, and annoying. Another one of those goals where they've had one cross all match and it's gone in. We really need to get better at solving that, at tracking runs, at dealing with strikers when they're moving into the box. I think one of the most annoying things about this goal, though, wasn't the fact that there was a goal, but Meslier was booked for time wasting, having tried to pick up the ball to get back to play football. You sort of have to question the refereeing when that's the second yellow card of the match, 66 minutes in. Their goalkeeper's been time wasting since the 40th minute. And their players have been absolute tactical fouling shits throughout, and it has a material difference later on in the match, which I'll go into in a few minutes. Then we get to the 70th minute, still no changes. Ruter's still one of the more creative options. He had 2 shots on target within a 20-second spell at one point, forcing 2 really nice saves from their goalkeeper. Again, irritating, because we're getting the opportunities, we're just not putting them away. First bank of subs happened. Bamford and Nonto came on. Spence and Kamara came off, turning us into a 3-1-6 formation. These changes, I think, were basically designed to destabilise the game, cause a little bit of chaos, because they were happy to sit in and let us recycle the ball again and again and again on the edge of their box. If we do this, then we completely change the structure of the match. We give them a space to attack, which means that we can make the game a little bit more transitional. Bit further into the game, 81st minute, finally, the goalkeeper gets yellow carded. And this is after he's walked the ball from side of his 6-yard box to side of his 6-yard box for a goal kick. Referee, hold it together. Come on, you meant to control the match. Next sub surprised me a little bit. Gelhardt came on for Piru. Piru coming off makes sense to me. Gelhardt on surprised me somewhat. I guess maybe because he's more of a chance creator. He's not quite that straight up finishing number 9, and we sort of lacked the opportunities. He's good at dribbling in tight spaces too, which I think was a very, very good advantage. Rutter had another good chance in which he managed to somehow roulette 2 defenders in one move, blazed it into the side netting, not quite a goal. Then 7 added minutes, Dan James misses a sitter, and you can tell at this point that it's just going to end 1-1. Something that frustrated me at this stage was that earlier bookings, if they were given, would have really mattered. If Coventry City were given yellow cards for the first time they made tactical fouls, they wouldn't be able to hold down Joe Gelhardt 40 yards out because they know that's going to be a second yellow card. The fact that he was so lenient in the first half, the referee, means that throughout the second half they can just keep being shit and deliberately fouling. And I know it's within the rules that you'll get a yellow card for that, but the fact is they should have had them earlier on and they wouldn't have been able to do it again. Absolute pain, in my opinion. And then it was full time. And the more I'm talking about this game, the more I can feel myself getting annoyed by it, which is But there are some lessons to learn from the match. The first is a little spiteful one. Jeff Eltringham is a self-important little man. Can't control a football match, but sure. We need to adapt a little bit better to low blocks. That's something that we always struggle with, and we need to sort of change things up, whether it's just not starting Piru and having Nonto on instead so he can break them down a little bit nicer. We need to create more clear-cut chances in those situations, and I don't think Piru is the man to do that. A 10 is an absolute must in January is something else that we've learned from that match. We had so many opportunities, but we could have had clearer cut chances if we had a straight up number 10, and maybe we need a little bit of shooting practice. We had chances, we didn't put them away. Anyway, that was Leeds 1, Coventry 1. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about the match in the comments down below, whether you agree, whether you disagree, whatever you fancy. In the description, I will put the form for my player ratings. I'll do a video on that in a few days. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe, and I will see you later.